Stress isn't what you think it is. It's not your schedule. It's not your workload. It's something way simpler and way easier to fix. Stay with me for 8 minutes. By the end, you'll know exactly what I mean. Alright, let's talk about stress. Not the what causes it kind of talk, but the how do I actually make it stop kind. Because here's the thing. Most people think stress is about what's happening to them, but it's not. Stress is about what's happening in them. And once you understand that, everything changes. So here are 8 mental shifts that Americans are using to reduce stress. Simple, powerful, and honestly, life-changing. Mental shift 1. I don't need to fix everything today. Let's start here, because this is the shift that stops the spiral. You wake up, your brain hands you a list, emails, calls, problems, deadlines, and stress whispers. You better handle all of this right now. But here's the truth most people forget. Not everything needs a solution today. Some things can wait. Some things will solve themselves. Some things aren't even yours to fix. And when you give yourself permission to let today be unfinished, the weight lifts. Because urgency is stress's favorite game. And patience? Patience wins every time. Mental shift 2. This is temporary. Okay, this one's big. Because stress has a nasty habit. It feels permanent. Like whatever you're going through right now will be here forever. But Americans are learning to zoom out. To say, this moment will pass. Just like traffic. Just like bad weather. Just like every hard season you've already survived. And suddenly, the pressure softens. Because your mind remembers something powerful. You've been through worse. And you're still here. Mental shift. 3. I'm allowed to say no. This is where stress really lives. In the yes you didn't want to give. In the favor you couldn't say no to. In the thing you agreed to, even though your whole body said don't. Here's the shift. No is not rude. No is respectful. Every no to overload is a yes to your peace. And peace? Peace is where your best work happens. So stop apologizing for protecting your energy. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're survival. Mental shift. 4. My worth is not my productivity. Okay, this one hits different. Because most of us were raised to believe you are what you accomplish. The more you do, the more you matter. But Americans are slowly unlearning this, and it's changing everything. Here's the truth. You don't earn rest. You deserve it. Not because you worked hard enough, not because you checked off enough tasks, but because you're human. And when your mind stops measuring worth and output, stress loses its fuel. You stop running. You start living. Mental shift 5. I can control my response. You can't control traffic. You can't control other people. You can't control life. But here's what you can control. How you show up. Americans reduce stress by asking one simple question. How do I want to respond to this? Not react. Respond. Because reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. And that shift? That tiny pause between what happens and what you do, that's where calm lives. Mental shift 6. Small wins matter. Stress loves to tell you you're not doing enough. But here's the counter move. Celebrate the small stuff. Made your bed? Win. Drank water? Win. Took 3 deep breaths? Win. Progress doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. And when you start stacking small wins, stress loses its voice. Because you're not failing, you're moving. Mental shift 7. Rest is not laziness. Let's say this louder for the people in the back. Rest is recovery, and recovery is intelligent. A rested mind solves problems. An exhausted mind just survives them. Americans are rewriting this belief. That rest is earned. That rest is optional. That rest is weakness. Nope. Rest is strategy. And if you want to show up strong, you gotta let yourself be still. Mental shift 8. I'm human, not a machine. Last one, and maybe the most important. Stress comes from expecting perfection, from thinking you should be on all the time. But here's the shift. You're allowed to have bad days, slow days, emotional days, days where nothing clicks. You're not broken, you're not failing, you're human. And that's not a flaw, that's freedom. So here we are. 8 shifts, and if your mind feels even a little lighter right now, imagine what happens when you practice these daily. Because stress doesn't disappear overnight, but it does loosen its grip. And here's that one sentence I promised you at the start. Your mind is not your enemy. It just needs gentler instructions. Read that again. Let it sit. Because the way you talk to yourself, that's where stress begins. And that's where peace begins too. So take a breath. You're doing better than you think. Listen, if you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person I make these videos for. Someone who's actually trying to feel better, not just scroll past it. So do me a favor, subscribe, because I've got a lot more coming that I think you're really gonna need.